Hello, everyone. We are back with a amazing webinar with Inside and Out Consulting. I'm Dr. Sasha Johnson, the CEO and psychologist at Inside and Out Consulting, and I'm super excited. We've been doing these series since the beginning of the year, and we have just been shedding light on specific topics that coordinate with mental health. So I'm super excited about my sister and my friend, Dr. Shawna Barnett. She is a psychologist and professor who lives in Ohio. She has her own coaching business and is an author. She's amazing. You guys should check her out at let me let her tell you guys. I think it's Transform Me for Better, but we're going to make sure I have that correct so I can put it on the screen so you guys can see it. But I'm not going to talk you to death and bore you. I want you guys to see her beautiful face and hear all the amazing knowledge that she has about imposter syndrome. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Sasha. It's Transform to Better Me.
Okay, wait, look, I got to put it at the bottom of the screen. I'm so sorry. I messed that all up.
Everybody always messes it. It's fine. It's fine. But you can see at resilienceandme.com. That's the easiest way to remember.
So which one do you want me to have them follow on IG?
On IG is Transform to Better Me.
Transform to Better.
And then number 2.
The 2 behind it? Or no, number 2, I got you.
Number 2. Transform to Better Me.
Gotcha. Like that.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited. Thanks for having me on. There is a lot of information, so I may talk a little bit fast, but I want to make sure I'm filling everybody up. All right. Absolutely. So we're going to talk about the imposter syndrome tonight. Can you guys see me? Do I need to turn the light on? All right. So, good. Okay. So imposter syndrome. So if you don't know what it is, imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern where somebody feels like they're not as good as others. It's where people doubt their achievements and fear that they'll be exposed as a fraud and have feelings of inadequacy despite any successes and their evidence of success that they have. So there's a lot of signs and symptoms of imposter syndrome. One is persistent self-doubt. You have fear of failure. You have overachieving spirit where you want to overachieve and extend actions. You have perfectionism. Perfectionism is really something that you strive for all the time. You discount your successes. So even if you're successful, you may think that it's just luck and you worry that you don't deserve that. So it is more common in people than they realize, and it affects people across the various demographics and professions. So it often happens to high achievers who struggle to believe in their own abilities. And then there's studies out there that show it's like 70% of the people experience imposter syndrome at some point in their lives. So it's not limited to any gender, any age group or profession, and that makes it a widespread issue. And really, sometimes it stems from early experiences in childhood or in pressures to succeed. You get messages of inadequacy during your upbringing or in education. So a lot of high achieving individuals, including successful professionals and students, often struggle with imposter feelings. So some things that can cause imposter syndrome, like what I just mentioned a minute ago, and it's not a whole exhaustive list of some of things, but here's just a few. Perfectionism. You can set unrealistic high standards for yourself, and then when you don't reach them, you feel like a fraud because they weren't met, and that's a struggle where you perceive failure. You can also attribute your success to external factors such as luck or help from somebody else rather than acknowledging your own hard work and efforts that you put into it. And then you're always constantly comparing yourself to others, especially those that you perceive to be more successful, and that also can contribute to your feelings of inadequacy. So that's not you don't ever want to compare yourself with other people. Another one is a lack of recognition. You have a lack of acknowledgement or validation for your achievement, and that can contribute to the imposter syndrome, causing you to undervalue your personal accomplishments. Again, like I said earlier, early experiences, you can have past experiences such as criticisms or setbacks that can shape your perception of yourself and that can contribute to it as well. Some other effects of imposter syndrome is you have impact on mental health. It causes anxiety, sorry, and stress, and it undermines your self confidence. And then, as far as professional consequences, it can make you hesitant to pursue any opportunities. Also, it makes you difficult. It makes it difficult for you to assert yourself at work because you feel like you don't know what you're talking about, and really, you probably do. So the question is, how do we transition away from those perceptions that we carry? One, we want to recognize the imposter thoughts. So you want to do some self awareness work and reflect on some things. You want to identify your negative self talk. I mean, we are bombarded with negativity all the time in here. So you want to go ahead and identify that. You also want to take that negative talk and reframe those thoughts. So you want to challenge those negative beliefs. So when we challenge those negative beliefs, what we're really doing is asking, is it a fact or is it what I think? We also want to acknowledge and internalize our own achievements. And one big thing that you want to do is seek support. You want to talk to mentors or other colleagues, and you also want to build a strong support network. So, and in doing that, this moves us from transitioning out of that perception and that unhealthy mindset into a healthier mindset. So when we're transitioning into a healthier mindset, we want to learn how to embrace failure. I know that sounds crazy, but you want to embrace failure. And what I mean is, meaning I want to recognize the setbacks are essential components of my personal professional growth. So I want to normalize setbacks by acknowledging that everyone experiences obstacles in their journey towards success. And instead of viewing my failures as failures, they are evidence of my incompetence or inadequacy. I can see it as a natural part of my learning process. I mean, how are you going to learn unless you fail? So, by reframing failure in this way, I can alleviate the pressure of constantly achieving perfection and focus on continuous improvement. So, I'm actively learning from my mistakes and challenges. So, instead of dwelling on those setbacks and having those bring me down or allowing them to undermine my self confidence, I want to pull from valuable lessons and insights from my own experiences. Because each failure in my sight becomes an opportunity for reflection, adaptation, and then also to refine my strategies. So by embracing failure, it's really a motivation for growth and learning. And it like takes the paralyzing effect of the imposter syndrome and flips it away and develops resilience, confidence, and self assurance. So you want to deal with imposter syndrome in that manner. Also, when I said something about setting goals, you want to set realistic goals. That's the key to the whole thing. And this means creating achievable objectives that match your abilities. You don't want to take out something too big, and you don't want to pile yourself up with something that you know you can't do that will set you back as a failure or make you feel like a failure. So you want to make realistic goals. And so by doing that, you avoid overwhelming yourself and feeling inadequate. And then also, you want to celebrate your small wins along the way. I mean, I don't care if it's crossing a T, you want to celebrate that. It's like finishing a task or getting positive feedback. So those victories boost your confidence and they show your progress and they help you to overcome that syndrome. Another big thing is have some self compassion for yourself. It's crucial because sometimes you can be really, really hard on yourself. So that means be kind to yourself, especially when you're facing doubt or criticism. So instead of being hard on yourself, try to understand that everybody makes mistakes and everybody faces challenges. Practice self compassion exercises like self talk or mindfulness to cultivate a caring attitude towards yourself. So treat yourself with the same kindness that you will offer to a friend in a similar situation. So when you embrace your self compassion, you counteract those feelings of inadequacy and you build a healthy relationship with yourself, which reduces that, again, the imposter syndrome. So, just a couple of exercises that you could do to help you move in that direction. One of the big things that I do is visualization, not daydream, because some people some people can confuse that with daydreaming. But when you visualize, it's a powerful tool for combating imposter syndrome. By mentally rehearsing success and focusing on positive outcomes in your mind, you can enhance confidence, you can reduce anxiety, and you can improve performance. And it also helps you to clarify your goals and maintains your motivation. And then it taps into that mind body connection, and it fosters mental and physical well being. So, integrating your visualization into daily routines help you to overcome the self doubt, and it cultivates belief in your own abilities. You also want to go ahead and imagine successive um, positive outcomes. So this could involve imagining completing a project flawlessly, perfectly, by delivering a successful presentation and then receiving your recognition at work. So that's two things that you've done that's going to boost your self-confidence. So you want to imagine that you successfully have done that and you have a positive outcome. So you also want to create mental images of confidence and competence. So you can imagine yourself speaking confidently in front of me in meetings, handling challenges with ease, or interacting assertively with colleagues. You know, just speaking your mind, speaking your voice, speaking your authority, and speaking what you know. So that is big. You also want to do affirmations. Affirmations are really big as well. So you want to be able to craft positive abilities, positive things about yourself. You want to repeat affirmations on a regular basis. Things like, for example, I'm capable and competent and I deserve success. I trust in my abilities to overcome challenges and achieve my goals. I am worthy of recognition and respect for my achievements. Another one is I embrace my uniqueness and celebrate my accomplishments. I believe in myself and my ability to create a life of that I desire. So when you're repeatedly doing these and you're saying these, what you're doing is you're reprogramming your mind and removing that negativity that you carry and remapping the path to success. So that is something that is really big. Um, Again, like I said earlier, developing self compassion is important. So you can do this through journaling. This means writing down all your achievements and success. And I'm really, really big on journaling and writing and getting things out because you don't want to have things bottled up inside. You got to get it out. Journaling is the perfect tool. So by documenting these wins, you can remind yourself of your abilities and progress. And journaling often involves reflecting on your personal growth over time. So you're able to take a look back and see how you have grown. So take some time to think about how far you've come and the challenges that you've overcome. So this reflection can help you appreciate your journey and build confidence in yourself. So you can nurture your self compassion and get rid of the feelings of doubt that come with that imposter syndrome. So I know I said a lot of this really, really quick, but just to recap, the imposter syndrome comes from various factors, which includes perfectionism, early experiences and criticism, constant comparison to others, achievement pressure, certain personality traits like self criticism, and it manifests in self doubt, fear of failure, overworking, undermined confidence, and potential mental health issues can arise, such as anxiety and depression. So, once you understand these causes and effects, it's crucial for you to recognize and address those imposter syndrome symptoms. You want to foster a healthier mindset and improve your overall well-being. So, with that, I want to encourage you to implement some strategies, some of the strategies that I gave you, and emphasize the importance of acceptance and self-love. So that's pretty much it as far as what I had to say about the imposter syndrome. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but that is something that is really close to me because a lot of people come out of school, especially graduates or even high school, they can come out and feel like they're not what they feel they should be because they're comparing themselves to other people and they're beating themselves up and they're setting themselves back. So that's something that you really do not want to do. All right, Dr. Sasha.
All right. So I I like this topic because a lot of times we struggle with it and we don't even realize we struggle with it. It becomes normal, like a part of our comfortability, to be honest with you, to
Yeah.
be toxic with yourself. And it's really, really sad. So you did have a few questions. Rhonda asked, how do you reprogram yourself?
Well, like I said, you do excuse me, you do some cognitive work. You do some reframing. You take your negatives and turn them into positives. You look for the good, even though it's bad. There's always a lesson that you can learn from something bad that happens, or something that is I guess something that you didn't expect to happen, but did happen. So there's always a lesson that you learn, and you want to internalize that and move forward from that. So you can reprogram yourself. It does take some time. Again, like I said, it's some cognitive reframing work. So it's not something that's going to happen overnight, but it can happen.
Okay. All right. And so another question is, how much do you think social media impacts the comparison?
Huge. Social media is huge, as far as comparing anything. As a matter of fact, I just was teaching in my psychology class today about groupthink and comparison and conformity. It's a big thing, and it's sad sometimes that our younger generation really has the pressure. It's something that we didn't grow up with. Social media comparison, something that we didn't grow up with. Well, me anyway. I don't know about you, but giving away my age. But that's something that is really strong, and self comparison to social media. Social media to me is fake. People who put themselves out there, it's not real life. It's not real life. They're always going to show you the best of everything, and show you the best of clothes, the best jobs, the best this, the best that. And they turn that camera off and they turn around, and their life is just like ours.
Yeah.
So
So I didn't grow up on
compare
social
yourself to
media
that.
either. Look, let me tell you. So whenever it was new to me too when it started, because in our era it was created, but I was actually an adult when Facebook actually started. I was
Same here.
already, and
Yeah.
so a lot of people think it's been around forever, but it really hasn't,
No.
guys. We used to not have this. We used to
Mm-mm.
not have even cell phones. I remember when I had minutes and had to wait till after 7 o'clock to use my phone for 3 minutes,
Remember
Um,
the phones was this big when they first came
yes, yes. But I do agree with you about social media. Social media, I think, has a huge impact on this. It's funny because you made me think about even body dysmorphia. Someone was questioning me or interviewing me about that yesterday, and it's so much that affects us mentally. It discourages you in ways that you don't even realize when it comes to the way you look at yourself.
Yeah.
And like you said, yeah, it's fake, but it feels so real when you are feeding yourself with this
And
all
you're
day.
bombarded with it. You're every you scroll and you're bombarded with these perfect model bodies, perfect teeth, perfect hair. I mean, the whole nine yards. So yeah, it's something that, especially if you look the exact opposite, is really damaging.
Listen, Tracy Kendra, I've never got a $2,000 cell phone bill. So I do not know what you're. I know that she's talking about if you had to use the phone over that minute, it would add up.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah, so I think that this topic is not talked about enough. I think that we beat ourselves up too much these days, and I think that no one really teaches us. No one really teaches us, and let's be real. When
yeah,
we were brought up, just like we are dealing with, this impact of social media, let's talk about the impact of our families and ancestors not knowing that it's important to teach gratitude and how to love on yourself because they're just trying to survive. They're just trying to be hard workers. They're just trying to make it to the next day. So it's not any let's meditate, let's listen to music, let's take a break. No, work hard, work smart, and get the money and take care of your family. We weren't taught to
and
embrace
that's
ourselves.
so that goes into a whole different area. That's intergenerational, and that's a whole different thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And I think that, like, even when I think back and I say, even as a kid, I don't remember my mom, literally, Tracy, she just said, my therapist insisted that I do journaling. My mama is not about to do no journaling, and she's
hmm
going to pray about what's going on and hope that it works itself out. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'll journal, I'll meditate. But I had to learn that these things work for me because it wasn't necessary. She said she tried, but I had to learn that, what worked for me. And when it comes down to it, guys, I think that we forget that if you don't take care of this vessel, which is loving on yourself, finding something that you like about yourself, gratitude, and giving yourself, self-compassion, what are you doing?
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
like,
It's a
seriously, what are you doing? Huh?
So Ben has a question. He says, in a professional setting, how can one celebrate wins when leadership constantly diminishes them? Ben, this is something that I dealt with personally myself, and it took me a long time to understand how why that happens and then how to deal with it. Because I mean, everybody has an ego. Everybody wants to have the acknowledgement of things that they have done work wise. What I have found, or what worked for me, is um, I know what I did. I mean, nobody can take away anything that I've done. I know what I have done. I don't I wouldn't say put a lot of emphasis on the kudos from other people and recognition from other people, because you don't get it all the time, and that's going to diminish your confidence and your mental first. It's going to diminish that, and it's going to make you resentful at work. It could make you resentful. It could make you feel all kinds of ways. But as long as you know what you're doing, and you know what you know, and you know what you did, that should be sufficient. However, it's not sufficient for some people. So you have to get to a point where you have to have a thick skin, and you have to understand that people are in this game for different reasons, and you're not part of that game. So I hope that makes sense. What I'm saying is that
It does.
you can't base your reality or how you feel on how somebody else treats you, because you can't control them. Only thing you can do
Absolutely.
is control yourself, and you know what you did, and you know how you did it, and you know that you did it. That's all that should matter. I hope
Absolutely.
that answers your question.
Listen, it did. And you just made me think about something. I'm looking for my notebook because we're reading this book called Good Boundaries and Goodbyes. It's crazy that this keeps coming up in my head. But they talked about, because a lot of times when it comes to a professional setting,
Mhm.
they will do these evaluations and things that put labels on you to make you feel diminished, and,
Oh, yeah.
and it breaks down your self efficacy. And so, what I have learned and from reading this book, and I recommend it to you guys, is that a person can say anything about you or label you as anything, but you do not have to receive the label.
Exactly.
You don't have to accept that. And whether it's at the job or not, at the end of the day, you know who you are and you know what you're doing. And that is what matters. Just like what
That's all
Dr.
that
Shawna
matters.
said,
Mhm.
that's all that matters.
Mhm.
So, and if they don't see the beauty in you, I know it's easier said than done. It's a lot of jobs out here. It's a
Yeah.
lot of businesses out here. And
Mhm.
it's a lot of opportunities out here. If a person doesn't see, you know, the beauty in you, then you may need to go to a space that does.
Hey, I always say, what one won't, someone else will.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Dr. Shawna, I think this has been a great chat. I really think that, this can go on for much longer than what we have. I know, guys, we have these short segments on the topics, but it's because we want you all to understand the different important topics that are not talked about when it comes to mental health. These things like body dysmorphia, loving on yourself, self care, imposter syndrome. You don't hear a lot of conversation about those things. Now, self care maybe, but not this particularly. And I've even had people say, "What is that?" They still didn't know what it was.
I've had people ask me that too.
Yeah,
No doubt.
seriously.
Mhm.
So I want you guys definitely to check out www.insideandoutconsult.org. We are taking new clients. We have coaches on our team. We have therapists on our team, and we're here to support you overall. We are family, and we treat our clients with so much compassion, and we want to make sure that we guide them appropriately. Also, what I want you guys to do is follow Dr. Shawna. She's amazing. She has a lot of amazing things going on. I don't know why she doesn't have one of her books around her so she can show it on screen, but it's okay. But she's doing she's doing amazing things, you guys. Juggling a lot, but she's a powerful woman. So, you guys, please check her out. Get ready because in 2 weeks, I'll go ahead and let you know our next speaker will be Coach Wesley. And I'm excited for you guys to have him. But guess what? I'm sharing with you guys my team because we all work together and we all have a lot of knowledge and we're sharing it with you. And I hope you guys have an amazing evening. But I want you to go back, look at some of these videos. If you have any questions, you can send it to us on our Facebook or you can email us. And that's insideandoutconsult@gmail.com. I hope you guys have an amazing night. And thank you so much, Dr. Shawna.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
You're
Thanks for
welcome.
having me.
You're welcome. You guys have a good night.
Good night.